Okay, so in this section, I would like to just get quite practical with how you give to Northlight, your church, because so often people don't make those connections. And obviously, if you want to apply this scripture to your life, you're going to need to know those practicalities. Let me just explain to you that the way we work as Anglican churches here is that we are responsible for raising our own funds for our own expenses. There's no bucket of cash in head office or by the government. We pay tax, not every tax, but we do pay tax. And so we are required to raise the funds that we need to do the ministry that we have designed to do. And so that means paying for the bills, paying for the lights and the garbage collection and our staff and all those kinds of expenses. So please don't be under any illusions that there's a bucket of cash somewhere or that we can go to if there's nothing there. We must provide for the ministry that we do under God's good grace. There is no expectation that every member gives a certain amount. It's not budgeted in that way. We each have different levels of income, and so we are to give not on compulsion actually, but as we have been resourced by God. It should be cheerful giving. It should be according to your ability, the passage says. So your ability might be different from my ability, from Nat's, from somebody else's, but your work is to work out what is generous within that ability, within the amount of income that you have. And so you must think that one through. And for some it'll be this much, and for some it'll be more, and that's the way it is. It does make it a little hard to budget, but that's a different problem that the parish council actually needs to deal with. So from all the monies that we collect, we pay our salaries, as I've said, our costs and so on. And there will be times, because some of you will be able to give more, maybe you get a tax return or an inheritance or a thing, and you can give more, and there'll be other leaner times when you can't. And we understand that, we know that, we're pastors here on the team, and we know that there are times when that can't happen. And so our budget will smooth or attempt to smooth all of that out, and we'll take those sorts of things into account. In fact, there may even be times when from the budget you're helped, perhaps because you're sick or you're unemployed or what have you. And we do have ways to do exactly that, and we want to be that kind of church that loves in that practical kind of way. So please don't be too proud, if I may put it like that, to receive from our church, and feel free to contact the staff team should the need arise. We do want to be that kind of loving church. But we're on the flip of that argument at the moment, and that is how to give practically. Our budget in 2022 overall is about $1.5 million. So it's quite a bit, about 1.3, so the vast bulk comes from offertories, and as you will know from the notices and so on, we're about $27,000 behind year to date. And if that were to continue for the rest of the year at that rate, that would be a problem, hence this study and this motivation from your heart to the kingdom causes. The whole thing, you should know, is public. Our budget is published at the beginning of the year at the annual general meeting. It can be scrutinised, it can be questioned, and then we run to that budget throughout the year, and so that's how that goes. We want to make sure in our budget that the vast bulk of what is given to support ministry directly, as opposed to other bits and pieces. And as much as we can, that's how we design things. Now, how to give. There are a number of practical ways that you can give. You can find this form on our church website. You can give by direct debit, where you give our bank authority to debit from your bank account a certain amount. We love that because we know exactly how much is coming in. It does help us budget-wise. You can do direct transfer, where you tell your bank to deposit into the church account an amount each week or month or whatever you may choose. That's also good, but it's not as much that we can rely on it, but that's good because it's set and you can forget, and you can set at a level that is sustainable and generous for you. We do, as you know, have offertory bags that come up and down the aisle each week. We are becoming increasingly a cashless society, and so we'll see how long that lasts, but that is still there. I encourage you to think about that as a regular thing rather than a reactionary thing. And please don't judge others who don't put anything in those bags. They may very well be giving electronically, so we shouldn't be judging at all. We have set up also QR giving at church. That's a quick way to get from your phone to our bank account and to set up things, transfers that way. It's there to help you and to prompt you, if you like, as a replacement to the bag and to cash. There's also a little terminal at the moment at the West Pymble site where you can put your credit card or your phone like you would at a coffee shop or what have you. So those things are there. You can follow the instructions that are right next to it and give that way if that's the way you'd like to do it. Let us know if there are other ways that you'd like to give. If we can do it with our bank, we'd like to make it as simple as possible. There are more details on how to give and why to give on a link on our church website, nlac.org.au. Get that right, you'd think I'd know. But that will take you a little bit further. There's some of the practicalities. It's over to you to implement that into your life, but thank you very much for considering that. Thanks.